Who leaves a box of golden Oreos with none in them in the kitchen? Who does that? My girl only eats the chocolate ones. She don't like these, so it wasn't her. Pretty sure someone else has been in my house. They have good taste because these are double stuffed. You can't just leave something like that. You can't just do that to somebody. Get my mouth all ready for some Oreos. We ain't got no Oreos. No Oreos. Have you noticed how the snooze button has absolutely ruined our lives? And now, wait for this, now we're adding a pause existence button. Every parenting article starts helpful. You notice that? And then it ends with, and this is why your kid's doomed. Thank you for subscribing and liking the channel at Bud Ford Comedy. I really appreciate it. Theme parks used to have lines. Now they have incidents. And that's why we go, right? We're going to talk more about that on the show today. Thank you for being here and being part of at Bud Ford Comedy. I don't know if you were here for the Napster incident. We couldn't handle it as a society. It was too much. Now we're talking about pausing life. Scientists are freezing brain tissue, bringing it back, memory intact. Stop. That's real. That's happening. Look at the headline. Closer than ever, the headline says. With memories intact, the article says. You realize that right now we're at about a level 5. We should be almost at panic or maybe beyond. But I'm going to dial it back because I don't want you to miss the message here. And then you decide if you're all in or if you're all out. This is reminding me of Jurassic Park. I'm not sure that it's science. I think it's a warning because we're not going to use this right. We can't even use the snooze button right. Now our ability is extended to you have the opportunity to pause life. Ooh, I don't even like this economy. Freeze me, I'll be back in 10 years. I don't like my current kindergarten teacher. I want to take a nap and come back 10 years from now with a better one. Companies are going to misuse this completely. You're not going to have PTO anymore. We're just going to freeze you through Q3. Gonna wake up like, did we hit our numbers? We're going to oversleep a decade. We're going to wake up and be like, what happened? Somebody goes, everything changed. Like, but you still owe taxes. And I'm like, freeze me again. Can you imagine the misuse that we're going to get? Oh, but imagine how cool it could be if you take Jordan in his prime, if you grab these guys that you know are way beyond everyone else. You know when Michael Jordan comes out of college, even in college, he's 10 years ahead of everyone else, maybe 30, maybe a lifetime ahead of King James. When he comes out, you just know that. He's like 16, and all we hear about is his greatness. It paid off. Kobe. These are legendary people. Quarterbacks, Tom Brady, you freeze him in his prime on Super Bowl, let's say number 4. If you could grab all these people and start freezing them at the prime age for their sport, you could build a dream team and never lose the Olympics. You're probably going to need to get buy-in from them first, just throwing it out. That's what I'm saying. We're going to misuse this. You know what? I'm going to freeze myself at 28. I'm going to come back 10 years from now. I'm still going to be 28. That's kind of cool, right? There's some interesting implications there. Now, there's also ways this can go wrong. Let's say we start doing that not only in sports, but we do it in a lot of fields. Let's say the number one marketer in the world is you, and you have a marketing degree and you have a PhD in marketing. There's nothing you don't know about marketing. And at age 28, the whole world's like, oh my goodness, he knows more about marketing than anyone in the whole world, or she knows more about marketing than anyone in the whole world will ever know. Shh, you've been frozen, bro. Sorry, hon, frozen. See ya, you're out. Then they wake you up in 10, 20 more years, and you'll be again a marketing genius. But what happens if you mess around and wake somebody up? You're like, I tell you what we're going to do. We have him set to be, because he was the marketing genius behind Marlboro. So we froze him, and he's going to be back in 2020. 29, and he's going to head up the marketing department. And then you realize when, we wake him up, he's ready to start writing campaigns and building ads and copy and, magazine ads and stuff to put on matchbooks. And he finds out that AI replaced him, and now he has to go to the unemployment line or learn to sell cars. It's a rough life. See, it may not AI out the way you think it will. But I thought it was interesting because it still sounds super scientific, like some kind of really bad movie to me. Again, like Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. Maybe not as bad as Jurassic World, but whatever. It just seems like that's still 100 years away from now, and it's not. It's right here upon us. I do this as a service. I read self-improvement articles so you don't have to. And I love parenting advice because it always assumes our baseline is, as parents, we have our stuff together. Parenting advice always starts simple and then turns into how you're a complete failure as a human and certainly as a parent. It's funny, when I am out and I'm watching parents with their kids, I am always fascinated by the many different ways that we can do this. Like, this parenting game can change a lot. The differences between parents in the South, parents in the Midwest, parents out here in the West, parents along the West Coast. It's a different mentality altogether. And I've also seen, because I've been alive a few decades, how parenting has changed from the 70s to the 80s and now to the 10s and 20s. Harvard says kids need stability. That sounds easy until you realize, hey, wait, I don't have that either. Parenting is hard. Like Harvard says. How many kids has Harvard raised? I didn't know they were getting pregnant there. I didn't know that. Is Yale like an offspring? I mean, is Cornell like the one no one wants to talk about, the cousin that really... I mean, is that how that works? I don't know. How does Dartmouth fit in? Mississippi State? Any of that? The article goes on to say they mean everything. Stable, sleep, money, routines. One thing slips a little and apparently the whole system crashes. Yo, I can barely manage Tuesdays sometimes. I mean, right? That's just real life. Parenting is, you're trying to live your life too, and the expectations that are upon you for whatever, whether they're real or not, the ones you've imposed on yourself or the ones imposed on you by someone else, or to match the education that you've worked towards, or whatever all those pressures are. Some days, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, even I'm going through the day and I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing today for some reason. I don't know what I'm eating for lunch today. Kids' brains build on consistency, according to Harvard. Well, there's no pressure there as a parent now, is there? Just every little interaction is shaping a human. Kids are tougher than we think, though, right? Because if perfection was required, well, most of us wouldn't be here, would we? We'd have never made it out. My name is Bud Ford. I appreciate you liking, subscribing. I appreciate your comments. Thank you for being with me on iHeart. Thanks for spending time on Apple Podcast. Also Spotify, very cool. On the Spotify, we have video, which is neat. YouTube, we have that. We have video as well. The way I kind of designed this thing and the way I intended for it to be used, I live somewhere around 15 to 25 minutes. If you work outside, this is how my cousin does it. He works outside. He just pops his earbuds in. He spends 15 minutes and he laughs, got along, and he moves along. And most of the time, a lot of these stories will correspond to something that's happening in the real world. So I do appreciate your subscription and your time. If you made it this far, that's amazing. Theme parks in the 70s were basically only for rich kids. By the time the 80s come along, because I'm an adult, I can now go to Six Flags. I can now enjoy Six Flags. Not the full, it's a lot of money even back then. Theme parks used to be dangerous because of the rides, but now it's the crowds. people fighting. You see these stories all the time. Theme park, fight breaks out. Six Flags, I'm not really trying to pick on them, but, you know, Cedar Springs, insert park here. They do the best they can, but humanity is what it is. That's not on the park attendants in a lot of cases, but hundreds fighting just out of nowhere. And theme parks didn't used to be that way. Like, the biggest thing you had to worry about there was some kid licking the handrail. You'd be like, oh, that's weird. But now it's live entertainment. Nobody leaves. They pivot. Phones go up. Everybody's watching. Some are like this. Hey, what's up, man? I just want to show you what's going on here. And so everything is live. Always somebody filming, narrating it like nature footage. And then the one guy said to the other one something about his mother, and they started swinging. As a child of the 80s, to get to go to Six Flags, incredibly expensive. Like, we just didn't make that kind of money in the 80s. Parents were making 30 grand a year, and we were fine. To go to a theme park, my parents saved up enough money to take us all to Disney World in Florida one time. It was really, really cool, but super expensive, and I felt bad about going because it was so expensive. It's just too much to put on a family, I think, these days, and I don't know how you cut the prices down because we want so much out of those parks. Otherwise, we won't show up. So it's a conundrum. And when these fights break out, it's interesting to watch what happens because security shows up and they're completely overwhelmed because they didn't sign on for that job. They signed on to check height requirements. I'm sorry, ma'am. You were just 2 inches too short to get on this ride this year, but next year, you'll be on it. She's like, thanks, I'm 45. That's the job they wanted, and maybe free rides before the park closed. They ain't here to break up no 75-person fight. That's not how they expected to spend their evening. At this point, in those places, the safest ride might be the one that's broken, because at least that one stopped on purpose. I've talked about theme parks a couple times lately because of the ride getting stuck over at Six Flags over Texas. And I grew up near Six Flags over in Georgia. And it's funny, though, because whatever the theme park is near you, when you get to go, it's a permanent imprint. Maggie Valley had Ghost Town in the Sky. I got to go to that one time. That was cool. I got a chance to go to Six Flags. They also took me to Disney World. And I got a chance to go to St. Augustine, which is kind of neat. So we really did some southern things along that coast because we did a lot of driving back in those days. And those were somewhat affordable things if you weren't renting hotels and that kind of thing back then. Now, you're looking at some incredible per-day rates if you start paying for all of the things that Disney has to offer. I'm not saying they're not worth it because just like we were talking, I remember each one of those parks, and I'm sure you do too. I'm sure those are permanently imprinted in your mind. So maybe at whatever cost they are at the present time, it's probably still a bargain. Thanks for spending time with me today. Again, my name is Bud like the beer, Ford like the truck. This is at Bud Ford Comedy. If you'd subscribe, like, share, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.